Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Brothers Take podcast. Kris and Eric here, back in the room to talk more gaming. We don't have Adam this week because he's off on honeymoon.
Hey, finally got there.
Yeah, himself and Pagan Plays. So they're off celebrating. So it's just me and Eric this week, and we're going to take the opportunity then to talk about a game that we have both played but that Adam has not.
That's not touched at all.
So
Yeah.
It's like
finally got there.
It's like we're doing it behind his back almost, you know. Like he won't be able to listen to this because it'll be a full spoiler cast. Boom for Horizon Forbidden West. It took a while, but we got there.
Got there. It took a very long time.
I feel like I hope like there's still a discussion going on about Horizon Forbidden West, but like it didn't even have its moment when it came out. It like had a week.
Yeah, had a week.
Then Elden Ring came out,
Yeah.
and everyone's still talking about Elden Ring, which is fine. But it's like, can we also talk about Horizon? That was a big game. It took a bit of time. You know, there's other stuff going on in life. Anyway, so we're going to talk about that. All spoilers, our thoughts on the game and the story going forward. So once the music hits, that's your final spoiler warning. If you have not played the game or if you've not completed the main story, you know, like maybe you're midway through or something, and then you ended up on Elden Ring and you haven't gone back to it yet or whatever it is. Once you hear the music, that's it. Final spoiler warning. After that, we are talking full spoilers, and we would love to hear from you guys during the discussion. So if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to jump down in the comments, share your thoughts at any point throughout the podcast on any of the points we bring up, or also if you want to bring up stuff that we don't bring up, please feel free to do that. And if you enjoy this episode, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell for all future content, because we release episodes weekly, but we also sometimes release bonuses just on YouTube that would be sporadic and irregular. So it's good to click that notification bell so you know when they come out. And if you listen to us on audio platforms, then you could also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on everything we bring up here today. And be sure to follow the podcast. But without further ado, let's travel into the Forbidden West.
That's the music, right?
That's
how it goes.
Is that the music? I suppose in areas is somewhat like that. There's electronic music in it. You know what? Let's start there. I know that's not story specific, but while we're here and we've both completed the game, and one of the aspects of games we have to talk about is the music, actually. And you just brought up the music. So what did you think about the music for this game?
Well, I mean, like the first game, the music is spectacularly beautiful. I mean, the main theme alone is a beautiful work of art that captures this awesomeness and wonder while also having this tribalistic effect to it. But for me, the piece of music that was written, I think for this one, it wasn't in the first one. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments and stuff. But it happens twice or three times, I think, usually when you're making long climbs.
Yeah.
You know what you're talking about. It's that real
exactly
bass, that real bass team.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am pumped to climb this tower.
It's got elements of, and like there's plenty of new music in this, but that one really stood out where it's got elements of the main theme in it in terms of the like ooze and stuff. But then it's also got this real subtle guitar and then a not so subtle bass line that's just like, fuck yeah. That makes climbing the most epic thing ever that I don't want to end.
Because I think it comes in the first time at the very start. You have to climb up a tower to knock down a rocket onto a slitterfang.
And actually that whole sequence, I was like, fuck yes. Like this is awesome.
Really cool sequence. And then it happens again, I think, when you're doing, again, you got your warning of spoilers, so we're doing spoilers. I think it happens again when you're doing Alva's personal mission. And you have to go up that huge tower to get to the very top.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Kicks in there again.
There. And then it kicks in at the end where you're for your final climb.
Yes. And that was great. I was like, I was pumped for this.
It's wonderful. I think that track is actually called weight on her shoulders or something to do with shoulders. Something to
Okay.
do with weight and shoulders. If you go on to Spotify, I can't remember the exact name, or Apple Music or whatever, but if you like scroll down and once you see a track that looks something like that, like weight on shoulders or something like that, that's the one. So
Okay. All
give
right.
that a bash. I've added it to my playlist. It's great. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite aspects of the game is just that piece of music. It's sick. But yeah, I mean, the music overall is kind of a further extension of what was good about the music of the first game, which is like a mix of electronics and tribalism.
Yeah, because another piece of great music, not in sense of epicness or anything that emotional, which is like the kind of main theme is quite a nice like emotional connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the music for the land gods, for the Ataru tribe.
Oh
Because when you bring
yeah.
all the land gods to life, and that music as well was very that hymn.
But yeah, even just the hymn that was just there when you get there, and the fact that I liked I actually liked that aspect of the game, that tribe, and actually the various tribes with their own kind of unique mannerisms and stuff. But that particular tribe was interesting to me that their leaders are called the chorus, and that if they're singing out of harmony, then something is wrong. Or
yeah, no, I much preferred to, because there's two new tribes introduced in this, the Ataru and the Tanacht.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I preferred the Utaru in that I just found they were way more fleshed out in how everything works almost.
Mm-hmm.
In that, like, nearly every piece of dialogue that they have tells you more about their culture. While the Tanacht were just like America. They were very military.
The Wings of the Seven.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, no, the Wings of the 10.
Sorry, Wings of the 10.
Wings of the 10.
It's been a while since I played it.
That's true. It's been a very long time since you played it.
The gap between us is a bit, sorry.
Wings of the 10. In fairness, that was also, I thought they were still very cool as well.
I liked kind of Hikaru.
Hikaru's cool. And Gatalo was cool.
Yeah.
I liked both of them.
We'll get to like the party members, but like just for a moment, like Hikaru, he was such a Mortal Kombat character.
Oh god, yeah, he was
Kotal Khan. Right?
Yeah, he was Kotal. He was.
I don't know. It's not the same voice actor. Maybe no, I don't know. Someone tell us if it is. But he was like that character, where it's like he's a reasonable leader, but also don't fuck with him.
No, in fairness, actually, the Tanacht tribe did look like Kotal Khan's people from Mortal Kombat. They did actually in their design and stuff, because they were both very Native American in their,
but also like
really
Aztec inspired.
Yes, and I liked it because with Aztec, or at least with pop culture design of Aztecs and Incas and people of down there, they always had like the bones and stuff. And I liked it with these people. They didn't have the bones. They had especially with Caro, he had these two machine parts sticking out, which was kind of reminiscent of the bones. Yeah, he was really cool. He's really cool.
I liked as well how he was able to kind of reason you into doing what he wanted you to do, which was like there's a great discussion there where she was like, why I don't want to kill your enemies. Why don't I just kill you to get what I want? And he was like, well, you're still killing then. However, one way would be helping people. And she's like, damn, he's right.
Yeah.
You got me. Like I even, as I was just sitting back listening to the discussion, I was like, oh, he's very good.
Yeah,
he's good at this. It's like, I'm convinced. Yeah, sure, I'll help. Let's go.
He was good. He was a cool guy.
But when we did this is a while back, and it's, obviously just gonna be people who listen to this that won't have checked out every episode we did. But before we did a first impressions, like non-spoiler discussion on Horizon, and in that, I had kind of expressed that I felt Aloy's drive did not leave room for doing side quests all that much. In areas, yes, but for the most part, that sense of exploring and wanting to help someone like find something. Yeah. I was like, I ain't got time for this shit. Now that we can go into detail on that, well, first of all, did you feel that way, or did you feel different to me?
I know. I felt that in its story aspect, it suffered from sort of sequel syndrome.
Sequel syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can't put it there now. But anyway, so it's that sort of thing.
Yeah. What is sequel syndrome before?
So, which is very common in video games,
Okay.
which is especially in something that's RPG-esque and open world and all that,
Mhm.
is giving you a time limit. Right? So with like
Yep.
Mass Effect 2.
Yep.
Now you have a little bit more leeway with that. But it's still that, we need to hurry because every day they're wiping out more and more colonies.
I would argue,
or
right?
in the
Like
third, okay.
For Mass Effect 2, for example, right? And yes, you're right with Mass Effect 3 in particular.
Mass
But
Effect 3 in
Mass Effect
particular.
2, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of there is a threat and it's there and it's very real, but there isn't really a sense of urgency.
Not really.
Until your crew get taken.
Yes.
In which case you could still go around and side quests and all, but at that point, and actually it will punish you for that. Spoilers for that too. But yes, sorry.
Yeah. And the third one, very much so, because you're fighting against a galactic threat that is wiping out worlds. So now they do tell you that it'll take like 100 years before they're successful, but still. So there's way more. But I felt that had that problem too. And it's definitely in other games, other sequels and stuff. But this one was like when you finally have Gaia. Spoiler alert. But anyway, when you finally have Gaia. And Gaia,
this is a spoiler cast, guys.
And Gaia tells you only have a month left before all life is wiped out.
Right.
I was constant. Now I did do a lot of like side quest stuff and a lot of other missions and stuff, and got some collectibles and everything. I did a lot of that, but I was every day going, I wonder if a month has gone by yet.
Yeah. I'd say I did very little of the side questing, and it was even before the Gaia thing. Like I picked up a couple of side quests, I did a couple of little errands, but then I was like, no, this doesn't feel like even Aloy is saying I don't have time for this shit. Like, and she is different. She has progressed from the first game, in which in the first game I found Aloy to be very naive, curious, and like longing to belong to people. And so there was a real drive to, apart from discover the mystery of who she is and who these people are and all that stuff, right? The actual main story. There was an actual drive that worked for me as a player, that anytime someone wants help, yes, I'll help you.
Yeah.
Just don't exile me again. Like, it's like, I'll help because I'm glad you're talking to me.
Yeah.
Like, I just want friends.
Yeah.
This time around, though, it was like, I don't have time for this shit because I know way more than any of you people know. And this shit don't matter. Like, you want to find machine strike pieces, and that don't fucking matter.
Yeah, like Gwent.
yeah. Which is the game's Gwent.
Yeah. But yes, and she was very like push everyone away. Because what she wasn't. There was actually almost an element at the start of the game. I kind of didn't really like Aloy. I was like,
I had a moment where I was finding it hard to connect with Aloy as well.
Yeah, so was I. I was like, after so long of being away from everyone, like in reality of of COVID, then playing a game like this, where the first game was all about connecting with people and helping people, it was all about longing and showing you the greatness and importance of people and respecting people and stuff. And then with this one, it was very the opposite. It was very sort of disrespectful to everyone and not wanting anyone around, turning people away, which I kind of thought then maybe that was what they were going to go with. They were going to show sort of Aloy's errors of wanting to be alone.
Well, I think they kind of did, didn't they?
They kind of do.
I think the point of it was that in the end, because you do build a party this time around, which I thought was great. I thought that was cool.
Very Mass Effect. That felt like Mass Effect.
That felt like Mass Effect, yeah. But or even like Ghost of Tsushima as it goes on.
Oh yeah, actually, it's probably more closer to that
because like the map opens more and more. But I think the point of it was that Aloy is a flawed character and that she is pushing people away, but she actually needs their help, and she only succeeds because they help her, and they keep like pushing, like they keep Aloy, like let me help you, you know. I want to ask before I go on to the next thing, when you say the sequel syndrome, right? And I think it's interesting. You explained it quite well in terms of adding in this like pressure of time that suddenly takes away freedom from the player if the player wants to really role play it.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can ignore the time limit, but of course, it might ruin the immersion. Is that a bad thing? is the sequel syndrome, as you call it, is it a bad thing to
Um,
have that ticking time bomb?
I think no, but yes at the same time. If you introduce the ticking time bomb really early, yes, it is. Because the thing is always going to be in the back of the player's head that, oh, I only have this amount of time left before Hugo Strange starts bombing the city. Or, I mean, you obviously don't know when you're playing the game, but it's 10 hours, 8 hours, whatever amount of hours, right? But you could spend 20 hours playing Arkham City, and now the problem is it breaks the immersion of, I think, something like that. But if you have that, like, you're playing it, and then at a certain point in the game, it kicks in, and that then it's the time limit doesn't seem so ridiculous because you're a little bit later into the game. It's rather than having it for the whole game, and especially because I was sitting there the minute Gaia was breaking the news, I was like, "Don't say a month, don't say a month, don't say a month."
Right.
As a month,
give me more time than that.
Yes, no, say a year because you're talking about a huge land, and it takes you 2 days just to get down a mountain. Like, you know, well, it doesn't actually take, that's over exaggeration. But the point is, it takes you a long time to get from one place to the other. If you say a year, now the immersion isn't broken as much.
I get you. And I do think like more time is worth. I don't think it's always a bad thing. And
no.
Like my counterpoint would be like, say, like you brought up Mass Effect 3. In a sense, the best thing about that game is the ticking time bomb. Because, I mean, what an opening. What an intro.
Yes.
How much would it suck if that happened halfway into the game, and for the first half of the game, you're just dealing with like pirates and stuff because it's like, we have to ease you in before, it's kind of like, like we were talking last week on last week's episode. Check it out if you haven't yet, guys. We were all talked about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop games, but we were like, like how much of a game do you want to spend fighting rats?
Yes, true.
Right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. There is always going to be the counterpoint.
There's a balancing act really has to be done.
Yeah, So, Mass Effect 3, what an opening! It is. It's an incredible opening. One of the best openings, in my opinion, to a video game. I completely agree with you. If you introduce that later, it doesn't work. The whole setting of the game is stopping the Reapers, and again, because they tell you it takes, give or take, 100 years for the Reapers. That does sort of tell you, oh, I have lots of time. But I think it's a balancing act of maybe the dialogue or the interaction. But then I suppose it just also depends on the game. It's like you have depends on the game. It depends on how wide. Like at least with Mass Effect, it takes you 2 seconds to get from one cluster of like star systems to another because of the mass relays. So I suppose that's somewhat.
We are talking about Mass Effect way more than we were talking about Horizon right now.
Well, with Horizon, you're running everywhere on foot, and it takes you days to get from one place to the next. So it's like, I definitely, playing that game, went way over a month.
Yeah, of course. It came out in February. But
oh God, has it?
It's May now. But Jesus Christ, you've never taken this long to play any game ever.
No
matter how long it is.
Yeah.
To be fair, you were doing plays and stuff, but I actually, in this sense, I am okay. Okay, I would agree that a month is a ridiculous amount of time to put on a game with a world so big, and with travel largely being on foot. Like even if you get on a machine to ride it, it's still that's on going foot. By foot. Like it's
because you don't get a flying one until the end of the game.
It's so good.
But good.
Anyway, I would. So apart from that kind of criticism, which I think is a fair criticism in just the story writing, I like that there was a ticking time bomb. I was okay with that.
Okay,
What bothered me was that the game was presenting these other side activities that were so small and so trivial. Like some of them are very good, but some of them are so trivial that I was like, dude, even my character is saying I don't got time for this shit.
Oh yeah.
So like, because I wanted to push on with the main story, because I was more interested in that. I didn't give a fuck about fucking such grounds. And such or any of that. Yeah. However, having cleared the main story, now I've got plenty of time. It's like, well, we kind of have to wait for more intel, right? Like there's kind of a story reason now to go around and do the other things.
Yeah.
So in that, it's just that I would recommend to someone, which like I'll play a game however you want, but for me, like with Horizon Zero Dawn, I would recommend do everything as you travel up the map. and you should nearly finish the story at the same time as having completed the map almost, because it makes sense for Aloy's progression.
Mhm.
With this one, I would nearly say finish the story first, then go do the map. Which I know would
Yeah.
annoy some people because people hate seeing like grayed out
Thank-
areas on a map
yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's just, to me, it was like, I don't know, it felt right for the character to do it that way.
Well, yeah, because she is very, like throughout the entirety of the start of the game, she's talked about how she doesn't have time for it. And so that kind of sets you as the player as like, okay, well, I also don't have time for this because I have to connect with this character. So if she doesn't have time for it,
Yeah.
then I don't have time for it. And I'm seeing all that red shit growing out of the ground. So that's killing the world.
I liked sometimes she was quite funny sometimes, her snarky remarks towards some of the characters. Like she shushes a guy who very early on who believes himself to be of high importance. But but it is that, like, that kind of attitude though was me like, yeah, shut the fuck up. I gotta do this shit. Like I don't even have time to explain to you how this works. There's a computer virus, a subsection of an AI, and it is literally killing the world right now. Like you don't understand, man.
yeah. No, that was
so. But we mentioned that you build a party in this game.
You did, yep.
I did. We did.
Yeah, I never brought up the party. You
Objection. Hearsay.
Yeah.
No. Anyway,
that's a whole different episode.
You probably won't see an episode on that.
No, probably not. No.
But I love asking you these questions. Who is your favorite party member?
Kotalo. Actually, I can name that very quickly.
Kotalo, the man at no end.
Kotalo. And then underneath Kotalo would be Erend, Varel, or Zoe for different aspects, for different reasons.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are we including Beta in this? I liked Beta.
Beta was a very interesting addition, and I kind of thought it got to a point where I thought, are they going to kill Aloy? And Beta will take over from Aloy in the next game because she looks like her. But then the next game, that's how you're going to have a progression level.
That's not what I thought, but that would have made sense.
At one point, I thought that.
That's not what I thought.
That's bold. And I'm like, because I was like, at this point, what can shock Aloy? She seems to know more than anyone else. What can she learn? How can she grow? But I'm sure. I feel like this is like obviously to set up the trilogy with the ending.
Yes.
I am hoping it's a trilogy. To be honest, I like trilogies.
Yeah, and at least it won't overstay its welcome.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with wanting more.
Yeah, I mean it's a vast world.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're wanting to do like, Jesus, mention this again, like Mass Effect. So like the way they're coming back again, it's like they can do that because it's a vast galaxy and it's never going to stop. So the world is never going to stop. But yeah, the Aloy story.
Yeah, Aloy as a character, her journey. Yeah,
could be a trilogy. But yeah, would have been an interesting shock. Maybe kill her with a golf club to the head or something like that.
Jesus. All right, PlayStation. Why do you do this? Yeah, I liked Kotalo as well. Not only because his voice actor was great, but I liked
he reminded
you who? Stop now. Shut the fuck up. Who from Mass Effect did he remind you?
Yeah, he kind of reminded me of someone from Mass Effect.
Shut the fuck up. Did he remind you of Thane? No, was it Thane?
It kind of was a bit of Thane or a bit of Erdnot Rex or something, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
It was battle. Erend was a bit like Garrus. He's a buddy character.
Yeah, he's your buddy, you know?
He's your buddy, you know?
Yeah.
He wants more, but too bad, you're my buddy.
Yeah. He didn't want more with me. He was like an older brother with me.
Really? You didn't get that vibe off him at the start of the game?
No, not at all. The prince wanted more of him.
Oh god, the prince was
want more. Oh
geez,
my god.
He was...
I had to tell him, calm down. I'm busy. I am busy.
I just exactly what I said.
Now is not the time.
No.
Yeah, that's interesting. I thought Kotalo was definitely a great addition. I liked that he was missing an arm and that part of his journey was trying to replace that, but also that he kept kind of beating himself up for not having it. Right. There was a moment where you have to climb, and he climbs with you. And
I thought he was going to fall.
I thought he was going to fall as well.
Yeah.
And I know, yeah, exactly. And I thought it would have been wonderful to have him have that moment of like, I don't know, really beating himself up over something that, like, he kind of reminded me of, like, say, John Locke from Lost. I don't know if
Right.
everyone's
Yeah.
seen that show, but that's a character where he had a disability, and so he was constantly told what he couldn't do. And if there was something that he genuinely couldn't do, and people are telling him he can't do it, he would get more and more frustrated because he used to be able to do it. Like, he used to be a hands-on guy for himself, you know? And it just makes you feel more sorry for the character.
Oh,
when
that episode of Lost is heartbreaking.
Don't do it, Tamika. I'm not able for it. Should do a Lost episode sometime.
Oh god,
the whole show. What was your favorite episode of Lost?
I'd have to rewatch the show. But God, consider it took me this long to complete this game. How long would it take me to complete Lost?
Quite long.
4
quite
years.
Long. Yeah. Quite long.
Yeah.
There was one. I liked the whole party. I liked Zoe. I liked Varl. There's one party member I did not like.
Yeah. Okay. We got the same page. Yeah. I didn't.
Are we just agreeing on everything?
Seems like it.
I didn't like Alva.
Not really.
I
I was a bit like, shut up, Alva.
yeah. Shut up, Meg. I feel like some people will like Alva and they'll connect with her.
Yeah.
I just found her annoying. And also I didn't like her character design because of everyone else felt like a designed character. And I thought Alva looked like an NPC who was hanging out with you.
That or a cosplayer.
Oh, like she snuck on set and she's just tried to hang out with the gang.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, her group and they were very interesting.
Cool.
Yeah,
but your man as well, the CEO, but they call him CO.
CEO. Yeah.
That was
what was with that sequence though? When you get in there and it's awesome, and you're finally meeting Ted Farrow.
Oh yeah, so for everyone who is listening but never played the game, just because want to listen, there's a bit where you have to go to Ted Farrow's final resting place with a new tribe called the Quen, who traveled across the ocean in search of knowledge, and they're very aware of the focus that you have, and they're very aware of the old ancestors, the old world. But they kind of twist, which is what I think is really cool. It's almost like biblical, almost twisting the words to suit their own needs and making some knowledge forbidden or secret. You can't touch that.
Yeah. There's a religious aspect to that group,
which is really cool. They make the ancestors like these like messianic figures almost.
Yeah, and they were just businessmen. Like that's what's fucked up about it. Yeah.
But then you go to Ted Farrow's place, and he went through treatment to make himself live forever. He's alive,
but he's something monstrous.
Yes,
and they don't show it.
No.
For me,
perfect boss fight.
Probably the weakest moment of the game. For me personally. Because Ted Farrow, it's not like it was just some random dude that you heard about just in that chapter.
Yeah, it's Ted Farrow. Like
Ted Farrow caused all of this.
Yeah.
As the revelation that he's actually alive still, I was like, oh shit. Then when I heard this monstrous thing around the corner, I was like, wow, like I didn't expect it to go in this direction. Like robots is one thing, but now like some sort of biomutant thing or something. I was like, cool. Like I like this game is already fucking wacky. I'm with it. Like let's like I've already fought flying people and shit, so let's do it. So I honestly thought Ted Farrow was going to be a boss fight, and not only that it would show that maybe there are other people like this, and that might be something that plays in the third game.
Yeah.
And they just don't show him.
They don't show. Part of me, I thought was going to be the revelation that he was the bioweapon. He was what was killing the world. That you weren't going to fight him, which would have walked in, and he was like you could slightly see his face, but he was just this grotesque mass of of just flesh and meat, something out of like Resident Evil or something, like just connecting to the wall, and it was just like infecting the entire world. He was feeding off the world, so it was like the Pharaoh virus again. You know, it fed off all the biomass, so he's feeding off the biomass again.
Yeah. That would have been sick. Like,
And you didn't have to fight him, but
in every meaning of that word.
Yeah, it just would have been awesome. But yeah, no, they don't show it. It was very weird. It was very
like,
weird.
was that a time constraint thing? Was it a budget thing? Was it it feels like that moment just felt like Final Fantasy 15. Your friend goes off, and it's like, oh, that's a clear chapter that's missing.
Yeah,
like you sense it even before they announce the DLC that there's something missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That was horrible.
That was a real shame. However, it sounds like I'm doing a lot of giving out. I really like this game.
Oh, it's beautifully made. The lighting to this. I remember there's one time I was just walking,
stunning,
and I saw the sun rays, and I was like, "Oh my god, that lighting is beautiful."
Yeah,
like and the attention to detail of like the sweat on all the people, or their hands starting to turn blue from the cold.
Yeah,
like that's top notch.
And even the way the different machines move, the fact that different components come off them. Yeah, you're right. The attention to detail is unbelievable. The environments are amazing. The different locations are fantastic. Graphics, performance overall, I thought it performed incredibly well.
Super fast loading.
And like I said before, in our non-spoiler chat, the facial animations.
Yes.
Oh my god. In particular, I think in particular on Aaron. I don't know why, but there's moments early on where he's like just taking sips and it's so natural. It's so non-animated.
Yeah. I think Aaron had really good facial animations in the first one as well.
I did. No, to be fair, but
this one was
like a whole new level.
They all have like even like little subtle facial animations as well, which is like, wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Crazy.
We've gotten to a point where it's like, this is just scary now.
This is just better than real life.
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Yeah, it's unreal.
Unreal engine.
I mentioned what would be my lowest point of the game, which was just that very obvious Ted Faro missing sequence. What would be the highest point of the game? And I don't mean climbing, although it could be climbing.
Climbing was pretty high.
But what was like the game's highlight?
The moment that was just top notch. That's a good question. Because this game has spanned over about 3 months for me.
Yeah.
Okay, highlight of the game would probably, getting the Sunwing was pretty cool.
I think for me, it was that first flight on the Sunwing.
It was pretty good.
Just being like, wow. And just like seeing everything and having full control over going up and down and flying it to the tall neck and just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Now actually, I can fly.
That stuff was, I think, a big highlight for me was when you go to a cauldron, each cauldron is quite different. And when you go to a tall neck, each tall neck is different.
Yeah, you have to come up with different ways to actually get onto it.
Yeah, like that sort of like the diversifying it. Because I think at the first one, it was literally just with the tall necks climb.
Well, yeah, like a lot of them were very similar.
Yeah. But like in one of them, that was probably the highlight for me.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. It's a side thing. It's not even part of the main story. I was just like, that's so cool. You go into a cauldron, and by the end of the cauldron, you're coming out of it on top of a tall neck.
Wow, I haven't done that one.
Spoiler alert for you, Chris.
No, but that sounds amazing.
You build the tall neck. You finish the tall neck, and so you've got the tall neck in one go while also doing the cauldron. That was quite cool.
That's sick. Did you do the tall neck that's like in the water? It's like
yeah,
toppled over into the sea, and then you have to like fix it first and then get on top of it. I thought that was great as well.
There's not only you have to take down, you have to shoot arrows and they have to take it down to then.
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah,
a lot
of variations in there.
A lot of the variations and design of the world, and I think was very good.
I put out a tweet after I finished the game. Now that I can explain what I meant by that tweet, I'm delighted. I was like, Horizon Zero Dawn is like the original Planet of the Apes.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Horizon Forbidden West is like the sequel to
yeah, it's beneath the Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
And I don't mean in quality. Like I loved it. I thought it was great. I'm not trying to, because a lot of people would look down on Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, each to their own, whatever. I just mean that the first one has hints of sci-fi, but has to hold off a little bit because ultimately that's the twist.
Yes.
It's got to hold off of that big twist, and that happens in the first Horizon game where you get your big mad twist. Like maybe it was Earth, maybe it looks like Earth, but this time around, not only in the design could they be like, well, now you know the answer. So here's the Golden Gate Bridge. Here's Las Vegas. Here is shit that you're going to recognize, which I thought was great for the environments. But then on top of that, now we can go way wackier into the sci-fi because we don't have to hold back at all. We can. What did you think of the Far Zeniths?
I think they probably should have been a third one villain, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I think the third one villain is even way more wackier.
An alien AI.
An alien AI, but
that originated from Earth, though, right?
Well, we'll get into that. Right.
Right. Okay.
It kind of, I just think it overshadows Regala, and that's actually where, for me, is kind of the lowest. Is
okay.
You have Regala doing her thing, and then you have the Far Zeniths doing their thing, but you don't spend enough time really dealing with any of them, so none of them are really the enemy.
Yeah, and ultimately the final boss you spent very little time with.
Yeah, the final boss you spent very little time with. Now I get that in the first one there isn't really a big main enemy in the game, but that's not really the point of the first game.
Yeah, but it also ends with you thinking, right, Sylens is the villain.
Yes.
And now it's like Sylens,
which you do spend a lot of the first game with and dealing with Sylens.
Yeah.
To build up that connection, that twist is very, oh my god. But this one now, Sylens is barely in it. Regala's barely in it. Far Zenith's barely in it. Tilda's barely in it. Fucking everyone's barely in it.
Did Regala join your party?
Yes.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. Okay.
I wonder what happens if you actually do kill her.
Yeah, like I might do a second playthrough and just see what happens. I mean, I suppose I could just watch someone on YouTube probably has that video up, but that's not the same as. Plus, it'd be nice to go through it again and pick up on maybe there's minor nuances that once you know where it's going, you pick up on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like there's possibly too much going on.
And
I think you're right. Like, I don't know if putting the Far Zeniths into the third game necessarily needs to happen. But maybe there's no need for the Regala Rebellion. Like, maybe there's no need for that at all. But then again, if you can't fight the Far Zeniths, I understand that they're like, we need something for you to fight. So there has to be rival tribes out there somewhere. And now, why is there rival tribes? It's like, well, Sylens is trying to make a deal with them so that he can use them, so that he can fight the Far Zeniths. It's like, there's too many, like, opposing. And then it's like, Tilda wants to help you because actually she doesn't want to help the Far Zeniths. She actually wants to overthrow the Far Zeniths, but actually wants you to come with her because actually there's another threat, which is Nemesis. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's convoluted.
It's It's too
Kojima.
It is too. It almost is like Transformers: Age of Extinction. There's the humans.
I don't remember that.
There's the humans hunting down the Autobots because they're illegal aliens, so they have to be killed. But then the government is giving their bodies to a company who's making their own machines out of them. So then one of them, they have the corpse of Megatron, and they're trying to make their own one, which is Galvatron. But then Galvatron's becoming Megatron. So Galvatron's an enemy, while the humans are an enemy. And they've kind of they've made a deal with another guy called Lockdown, and he's doing his own thing because he's working for the Quintessence, who are trying to capture Optimus Prime. And it's just lots of plots.
I don't remember any of this.
I do, because I was like, this is too complicated. And then by the time you get to the fifth one, the Quintessence are all gone. No, it's actually Quintessa, another machine. I was like, well, Michael Bay, you can't even stick with your own story.
Oh my god, it's the Resident Evil franchise all over again.
God damn it.
Movies.
Yeah. But anyway,
I don't.
That's what I felt like.
Yeah, like it's not that I dislike the inclusion of these characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I would like to have seen more of them.
They had two really cool concepts, but they didn't focus enough time on either one of them. Like Regala and her rebels and stuff, and their reasoning for the rebellion was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Sylens equipping them with the ability to control the machines is not exactly out of character with him because he did that in the first one.
Yeah.
And the Far Zeniths was cool in the idea of just showing you how far humanity got with their technology. And not only did they go to space, not only did they have a colony, they became immortal and became Superman, became flying.
Yeah, they were very much Superman 2, like that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
They were very much.
Oh, gotcha.
It was Zod and his
Barrel and the big guy.
Yeah, 100%. What's his name again?
I can't remember. He is in the comics though, and he's in the movies.
Ursa and Non.
Is that it?
Yeah, so Zod, Ursa, and Non.
Okay. Ursa?
Yeah, Ursa is the name of that female.
Oh,
it's not Feora. No.
What?
Yeah, no, it's not.
What?
But actually, the comics ended up adding both Ursa and Non to the comics as well. So it's all.
Oh, okay.
It's all gravy.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was very that. Eric Vazar.
They're the Kryptonians.
Eric Vazar was Non. Tilda was Earth.
I quite liked the prism thing that's going on around them. It's unusual. Yes. It was kind of cool and striking to me, and it did feel otherworldly. What I didn't like is outside of Tilda, I felt the way those characters were voice acted was like suddenly it was like everyone else is quite mature and it's quite a mature tale, and then suddenly Power Rangers villains. I don't know. It was a little bit cheesy the way they would talk.
Yeah, and they looked I thought they kind of looked too similar. And when they're even going like, "Oh, Gerard is the main villain," I'm like, really?
Gerard?
Gerard?
Jafar may need glasses.
And then like I even looked at him and went, I don't know, maybe Lex Luthor might have been a better name for him because they all just look like so he's
they're Superman villains. They're Superman villains.
Oh
well, I did like though that they like at first I was like, wait, holy shit, what? They're doing aliens? Are they actually doing aliens? And then it's like, oh, they're the humans who left, but now they're coming back.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, no, I thought they were cool. I thought their design was quite interesting. And again, I find that it's like with them, it's like it shows you how far humanity got, and it also shows you how corrupt they pretty much all got. The point that they almost became like freaking the humans in Wall-E, only if they all went psycho.
Yeah, instead of that.
yeah. So they all, so they all just like became like so obsessed with virtual reality of like, wasn't it? Doesn't Tilda say to you as well towards the end of the game that's like they went into virtual reality so that they could just live out their own fantasies.
Something like that.
Yeah, which kind of reminded me of the show Altered Carbon. In Altered Carbon, everyone can live forever, and therefore those who have accumulated enough money could end up cloning themselves so that they'll always have the same body, because that's like illegal, I do believe. And then they've accumulated so much wealth that they live above the toxins of Earth, right, in their ivory towers, and do whatever they want. So they'll go off, have their way with some night working lady or fella or whatever, and then like kill them, and then or kill the body at least, and then pay to have them reskinned.
Oh god!
Like they just do their own thing.
That's horrible.
It's messed up show. It's actually not a bad show. I didn't mind it anyway, but it's That's
but that actually
kind of reminded me of that.
I get what you're saying, because like the Far Zeniths in this do see everyone else, like the people on Earth, as just primitive. They don't matter.
Yeah,
like we could dispose of them. They just are like 20 Zeniths, and they're willing to like wipe out the entire human race on the planet just because they're like they're like
they're nothing.
They're nothing to us. So I thought that was a very interesting perspective, because we were coming from the shoes of the people who are currently living on the Earth, and it's like, fuck you, like we're progressing, like fuck off, give us a chance, will you? Tilda was the most interesting of them.
Yes,
but again, we don't get enough time with her.
No, but she was very interesting,
and she was in love with Elizabeth Sobek, right?
Yes, that's what it seems like.
And then you fight her in a giant mech suit. It's nuts.
Go Power Rangers.
Honestly, at that point though, I was just like, yeah, okay, like fuck it, sure, let's do it. I'll fuck you up. And she was like, come with me, and I was like, no, fuck you. But also, honestly, space. At one point I was like, I mean, I don't know where this game's going to go. Maybe I'm going to space. I don't.
A part of me was a bit like, am I going to end up on the Odyssey?
Yeah.
Am I going to end up there?
I thought that for a second as well.
Another aspect, when she gave you the offer, I thought, do I get to choose? I get to choose.
I thought it was going to go that way as well. Like, do I abandon? Does Aloy have a choice to abandon the Earth and move on, or to stay behind? I was like, but then how do you make a third game?
Well,
because those would be two different games.
Well, I suppose that's where you have beta. Aloy goes beta. You play it as beta.
Yeah, that could have been a really interesting. Like, if Aloy leaves, then you play as beta.
If Aloy stays,
who gets brought up to speed on everything because of the focus and the crew start training her and everything.
Yeah.
Versus, that could have been interesting.
Aloy. But yeah, that would have been interesting. I know it was really good, really solid game, really well made game.
Yeah, no, it is, again, I think it's a shame, and it happened to them when they released the first game as well, because they're very talented studio. They've created a very awesome IP, and it seems amazing every time they release one, it's unbelievable. But they get overshadowed by some other big release that happens around the same time, and then nobody talks about it. But I think it deserves to be talked about.
It's kind of like the Tomb Raider games. Every time a Tomb Raider game, like the new ones, the Survivor trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Every time one of them came out, it got overshadowed by something else as well.
Actually,
they're really good games as well.
I don't know, they're solid. There was something I was gonna. Oh yeah, right. Sylens, right? We brought him up. It comes towards the end that he sticks around and he seems trusted, right? He was going to leave. His plan all along was to get that ship and leave. That was his goal. And then he stops, he thinks, and he turns around. Do we trust him?
I don't care. I could just listen to him talk all the time.
Yeah, he's great. Oh my God. He's he's so good. I love listening to him. But I do feel like he's this series ocelot.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have a feeling he'll backstab you a couple more times before we figure out what his real goal is. And maybe in the end he was helping all along. And maybe in that one moment he's already come up with a plan to defeat Nemesis. But he's not going to tell you how it works, and he's going to backstab you a shitload of time. I don't know. Or he's planning on using you, but I just don't trust him. I don't think he's being forthright.
I don't know with this one. Because every other time he talks with an agenda. This time when he turned around and walked away, there was no reason for him to come back.
I know, that's why I don't trust it. It's like the first game ended with him it's clearly oh, so he's a villain. Then the second game ends at, oh no, he's a good guy. And I feel like they want you to have that doubt of that back and forth of, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? Because that's his character, I think. His character is a manipulator and a schemer. I did like that Aloy had kind of got him into a position where she had the upper hand for once. I thought it was quite good. But at the same time, I was like, I still don't trust him. I think he's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's actually going to turn out that everything she did, he actually planned.
Yeah, he
did everything he wanted.
Planned for her to make those decisions.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. I hate when people do that as well, where it's like, how could you have possibly planned that? I knew exactly what you would think. I knew you'd find a Sunwing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love, right?
Yeah.
You know what I would love? When Tilda actually, now I'd love for this now to be in the third one. All right, so we've been able to ride the mounts, the striders.
Where are you going with this?
Wait,
Tilda, right? We've been able to ride.
Right, I'll get to my point. They are connected, right?
Yeah,
so you're
of
able
course.
to use the striders and the chargers and whatnots as the mounts. And now in this one, we were able to, there was a few more extra mounts, and then you were able to have the Sunwing, which is flying. Right? And then when Tilda mentioned the Hades Titans, I was like, oh my God, am I gonna take over one of these? And then she just talked about the battery ticket. I was like, oh, okay. And now after Nemesis, I'm like, wait a minute, are we gonna get to use one of the Hades Titans to fight us?
Maybe it's gonna be, we gotta reactivate one of these to take it on. I have to say, just in terms of what we're talking about there, in terms of coming up with a plan and then working towards it, where this game really kicked in for me. I was enjoying the beginning.
Yeah.
But where it really kicked in for me was when you did activate Gaia in your base, and she gives you a quest to collect the 3 and explains how it works. And I was like, that's logical. It makes sense. You've explained why to get these ones and why in that order and how that's going to help us. And I love that what I'm actually doing is getting computer programs, but it's turned into this like fantasy quest thing. So sick. Love that.
That was pretty cool. And each one again was quite different and matched its own. Yeah, that was very good. I think Poseidon's is probably my favorite.
Yeah, that was great. And like when I got there, I was like, oh no, I dread underwater missions. But actually, it was really fucking cool. And the boss fight was great.
Against the Tide Ripper?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. And the 3 guys I liked the 3 guys.
And I love that once like the reward at the end of it is not just getting the thing, but now you've got this cool Vegas strip that's all lit up.
Oh yeah.
Like the different projections and things that was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think they use it now. Well, they definitely did something on St. Patrick's Day where if you because I saw Gorilla tweeted it out. If you go to Las Vegas, or if you went there on St. Patrick's Day, they had like green shamrocks and everything up in the air. So I was like, oh, are they going to do that every time it's like a, like a Christmas say, like or a Halloween? Will there be?
I'm pretty sure that's just one of the ornaments that you give the stemmer, and then you can just set all the lights to St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, really? Because I thought they put that out on St. Patrick's Day, unless it was that they put that thing in the game as an update on that day. I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure some of the ornaments you get are set to holidays, so you can set like the lights to Christmas.
Oh,
because I think they just set it to Paddy's Day and Happy Paddy's Day.
So I see. That way, it's up to the player to do it, and they don't have to keep going in and like updating it or whatever.
They might still do it.
Sure.
Every holiday is have an image of because
they've already programmed it.
Yeah, because I think I set it to some holiday called El de Tier or something like that. I'm probably butchering the name, probably got it wrong. I've never heard of it. That's why I clicked on it. I was like, I don't know what this is. Yeah. It was like all these like crescent moons and lanterns just kind of floating up. I was like, ooh, this is cool. I don't know what it is. But like, yeah. So when you give Stemmer an ornament or you talk to Stemmer, you go, I want Christmas to be there. He'll then set it to Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that works.
So many fucking cool locations in the game. Like,
yes.
To be honest, some of my greatest joy playing the game was just taking screenshots. I have so many screenshots I took of just the view and going, wow. And I have to say, I love the addition of the shield wing.
Yes, very cool.
Gliding with that thing, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. It was one of those things that when they showed it off in the initial... by the way, that's not in the game. Remember that first piece of gameplay they showed us?
It is.
It's not.
Neither one of us did it.
Because
I checked through the trophies and I know exactly how to get it because I had a theory about it.
Because I read there was even an article saying that it's not in it.
Oh.
What is the trophy? Save Erend? Is that what it's called?
Well, no, yeah, it's help Erend kill the rebel commander Aranus or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, it has to do with taking down all the rebel outposts and their rebel camps. But if there's an article saying it's not in it, then
I don't think it is.
I'd imagine the article would have done everything. Maybe.
Well, you would hope they've done their research before they publish, but then again, that doesn't always happen.
But then also, I think people often they might have made that to show you Erend is still in it, and here's all the new features and the new robots. So they might have just made that for that sort of demo.
How did you feel when they killed Varl?
I saw it coming.
So did I. I don't know why though. I was like,
well, I didn't see
even before that scene. I was like, Varl's gonna die.
Well, no, I didn't see it that Varl was gonna die. I was just like, but I was like, well, Aloy's not gonna die. Okay. But one of these two is definitely gonna die because you keep talking about how, we gotta make a distraction, otherwise the Pharxenos will find us. And no, you guys be careful. And yeah, I was just like, someone's gonna die here. You're saying all the scripted dialogue for any game ever that someone's going to die. So
I felt like it was 100% Varl only because
Beta asks you.
not just that, they start the game him with you. You have no choice about that. And he kind of pushes constantly more and more to be with you. Like there's more scenarios where he's with you than Erend.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's of the party, he's gonna die because they've made sure I'm in enough scenarios with him
To like him.
to hope that hits. It personally didn't bother me, even though I really liked the character. I wasn't like upset because I was very well prepared for it, I felt.
Yeah, I was
but I can see why if someone loves that character, I could see, like, I like the character. I'm perfectly fine with him. And I was like, that sucks. I'm gonna kill you guys. But like, I liked it as a storytelling thing that someone died, but it didn't shock me. It wasn't framed in such a way that got me.
No. But I liked the bit with Zoe when you were paying your respects to Varl, because that's another point where the lighting was great as well.
Lovely. Another screenshot.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. That moment.
It was beautiful.
That was really good. I really liked Zoe. I thought she was a great character.
Zoe was great. Zoe was very good. Like, Zoe and Cthulhu were two great additions to the team out of like the new tribes and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm hoping they stick around in the next one. And I'm hoping we get a couple of maybe one or two more party members or something that like build up the cast again.
The last one is you're gonna have to build up a whole army. You're gonna have 3 people.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, you have to go around and collect the tribes and
tribes
to fight the Reapers. I mean, sorry, Nemesis. That's what I mean.
The space robots. Space robots. Hold on. Yes, the Nemesis. Again, for anyone who's listening who hasn't played the game and just kind of listen for the crack, is a collective consciousness of machines hell-bent on wiping out human organic life
because it sees it as a flaw.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Sorry, actually. No, it's not. That's not the reason.
Wasn't it?
It's the Far Zeniths the program didn't work the way the Far Zeniths wanted it to. So they locked it in a room and abandoned it. So it went crazy out of loneliness.
Yes.
And then decided to wipe out Far Zeniths out of hatred.
But now it doesn't distinguish between them and...
Well, it probably won't. It probably won't to be able to distinguish. It'll probably just see human and...
Well, it sent the signal, didn't it?
Yeah, but it sent the signal ahead to stop.
Because it knew the Zeniths were going to get there.
Yes. It was able to plan out the trajectory of
God, I
Odyssey.
hope you have played this game. At this
man.
point, it's just double Dutch at this point.
Yeah, so it sent out the signal because it planned out the trajectory of the Odyssey it was going to go to Earth, so it sent out the signal to kill Earth so that they wouldn't be able to land there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, it's been a minute for me, whereas it was last night for you or something like that. Of the new machines that were added into this game, which ones did you like the most, or which one stood out to you the most?
I like the shell snapper.
Yeah, it's cool.
Big giant turtle. That was cool.
I always like big giant turtles.
I like turtles.
Yes, the internet, but it was a simpler time.
Yes.
There was no algorithms, and everybody just watched Burnt Face Man.
And yeah.
And the duck song. Yes, simple time.
Right, I like the shell snapper. I kind of liked the claw strider. You know what? Actually, I kind of liked all the new machines.
Yeah, I thought they all worked, but I loved the Slitherfang, and I thought they did such a fantastic job
with all the
way
parts.
it moves. And you can see individual elements of it turning in different directions. I was like, this is fantastic. And then watching it wrap up around things, and honestly, I couldn't help it. I was like, I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. I was like, the Midgar Zolom is gonna fucking rock when I just see the different ways snakes can move. Not just that one and the way that moves very fast, but also like the giant serpent from Sekiro. The way I don't know, whatever they're using in these different engines and stuff to make these things move, like, is fucking wonderful. So I can't wait.
Slitherfang was good. I actually wish that on the map, right, you get this like unknown Slitherfang site or unknown Tremor Tusk site. I'm like, but it's not unknown because you told me it was a Slitherfang, or you told me it's a
it would be nice to not
unknown machine site. Okay, Grant, so it's a machine. You have to go in and find out what it is.
I guess they felt like they have to give you a heads up in case
You didn't want to.
Well, yeah, so that you could prepare yourself for your gear for taking it on.
But that's why you kind of sneak up. You know what I mean?
I did find that in the gameplay, I could sneak a lot more in this one than I could. Like I had more options to do certain things. And the melee combat was improved.
Much better. Yeah. Way better.
Because once it gets heated, like I like to stealth and use the bow and all that. But once it gets heated and it's full on, I am not going to stand there shooting arrows. I am going to whack. Yeah. And this time around, because I could put my skill tree into that, like that worked. So I thought the combat had been not overhauled or anything like that. Like it's very similar, but it had been improved. It was a good progression.
Yeah,
from the first game.
Yeah, you know, the combat has greatly improved. The abilities and skills and stuff greatly. Like it's a way bigger skill tree with so much more.
Huge.
And
there's
so
actually
much
nearly
extra.
Too much you can do in some ways.
Yeah, there's like load of like special abilities you can do. There's all that like there's like kind of like overdrives or limit breaks, I suppose.
Yeah.
When I go to Final Fantasy terms, things I actually only used it once at the end of the game against Tilda.
I think I used the one where you can go invisible a lot.
You go invisible?
Yeah, there's one of them, and you can turn invisible. So I was doing stealth, and then if I got caught, I would go invisible, and they can't find you, and I go right back into stealth.
I did not know about that one.
Yeah, so you can go full on Solid Snake. I can't remember. I mean, it must be in the one of the like tech skill trees or something like that. But basically, you put on this like bracelet thing, and it turns invisible. It's great, really good.
They know about that.
You'll have to find that one. There was one. Oh yeah, question I wanted to ask before we finish up the discussion here today. Yeah. Obviously, there's still a half a year worth of games to come, right? Possibly the best is yet to come. But do you think, as it stands so far, the Horizon Forbidden West could be in the Game of the Year discussion? Like we know Elden Ring is.
Yes, so I would like it or not. I would like it to be, because the amount of work these people may put in to build this beautifully well crafted, well scripted, well performed game. I would like it to be. But I think because it came out a week before Elden Ring, and they could only put so many games in, it might end up getting overshadowed, and people would just go, "Oh, February is Elden Ring," and then Elden Ring going.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what actually comes out for the rest of the year.
Yeah, really,
and where and when they come out. Like, for example,
I would like
if God of War Ragnarok comes out in December, it won't be included this year. It'll be included next year.
True.
You know.
Oh, and then it might not even win next year.
Why? What would it be up against next year?
I don't know.
Zelda, actually. Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah, it might win next year.
It depends on the quality of that game. But, I know.
Yeah, it depends on what comes out this year. Elden Ring it's just gonna get it probably.
Probably. I mean, I had 10 out of 10 across the board. I would like to say though, I would like to see Horizon Forbidden West in that discussion as well. I think it deserves at least a nomination.
Because just so it is well made.
It's a well crafted game. It is easily, like, it's not lower than an 8 out of 10 game. You know, people can argue whether it's a 9 out of 10 but it is definitely a high quality 8 out of 10 game. Yeah, I would say. Like, it's well crafted, beautifully made. There is issues with the story, I think, but ultimately it's a very good story experience.
Yeah, it's kind of the reason for the issues is kind of like, I suppose, The Last of Us Part 2. It's not Last of Us Part 2 is not a bad story. No, it's just that you have the first one, and the first one's story was just so good that now this one is like, okay, it's not as good. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like the standard is so high. So it's not that the story is actually in any way a terrible story. No. The standard for a Horizon story or a Last of Us story is so high that now it's.
Now that you brought that up, out of curiosity, which story engaged you more between The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West? Which sequel engaged you more on just the story?
I was bored with both of them.
Wow, really?
No, that's not.
Because I wasn't. Not at all.
You know what? Actually, just entirely engaged.
Yeah.
From all perspectives, just engaged. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It'd be Horizon 2.
Okay.
Because the length of the game was like, yes, this is an open world game. It's beautifully well crafted. The engineering, the sound design, everything was very good. The music was. I actually noticed the music. I didn't really.
Yeah,
notice
the music was great.
I didn't really notice music with Last of Us Part 2. But it's a problem. But at sometimes with Horizon 2, I was a bit like, guys, will you stop talking to Aloy, please? You guys are talking forever. Shut up.
There's an awful lot of talking.
There's an awful lot of talking.
Yeah.
But then with The Last of Us Part 2, I was a little bit like, no. Can I stop running and falling over? And can we just have a decent conversation?
Yeah. Where's all of the chats about?
Yeah. But the problem with Last of Us Part 2 was the game didn't need to be long. So I think the Horizon 2 is better because it's long because it's an open world RPG, so it makes sense. While Last of Us Part 2 is just dragged out long.
Yeah.
So I think Horizon 2 for me personally.
Cool.
What about you?
I would say that the story of The Last of Us Part 2 engaged me more.
Okay.
Because my disappointment with The Last of Us Part 2 really came when I finished it. And it was more of a, is that it? Feeling.
Okay.
It was nothing to do with, and like people could check out our discussions on it before, but nothing to do with what everyone else found problems with.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest.
No problem with that shit. No.
It was actually just that I was like, I didn't feel like it amounted to much in the end. I felt like I was like, wait, I went through all that emotion and this is it. This is all I got. Versus with Horizon, it was just, I had a pretty steady emotion the whole way through where I was just like, this is it's getting better. Like when it opened, I was like, this is good, but it feels like a DLC. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a full-on sequel yet. And only when I got to Gaia was like, oh, okay, now it's a sequel. Now
which is still a good few hours into the game.
Yeah, it's a good while into the game. And then I was really engaged, and then I just thought the end was a little bit wacky. But ultimately I had a great time playing the game.
The ending reminded me a little bit like Avengers Endgame or something. I felt like, here's a Marvel like kind of movie at the end of it. Like this would be a big CGI screen right now that everyone.
With all the like battles that were going on, all the machines
tilted there
and flying around, and shooting. That was like, I'll cover you, and it's like, this is weird.
I was a little like,
weird.
Tilda, you're really strong and can fly. Can you not just pick Aloy up and go to the top? Why are you making her climb?
You need a boss fight with Eric with a K.
No. You don't. Have Zoe and Aaron fight him. Be fine.
Sure. Well, guys, we would love to hear from all of you. That's our thoughts on Horizon Forbidden West. When Adam eventually plays it, I'm sure he'll share his thoughts too. But he hasn't even got the game yet, so that'll be a long time away. But we would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Did you prefer it to the first game? And why, or did you not, and why? So if you're watching this on YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts. Anything that we brought up here in this episode, or anything that we didn't that you would like to add to the conversation. We can keep talking about Horizon in the comments and everything. And if you enjoyed this, please do give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click that notification bell for the future content. If you're listening to us on audio platforms, then you can also touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take to give your take on Horizon Forbidden West. Thank you very much for checking out this episode. We'll be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.